Hello everybody, welcome to Handstands with Natalie. I am Natalie and I teach the art of hand balancing, and this class is for everybody. For all those of you who think handstands are just so far away from your lives that you can't even picture yourself ever being able to do such a thing as a handstand. This class is supposed to encourage you to believe and to feel and start feeling that you can actually hold your own body weight up on your hands. So let's get started with a little warm-up. So let's start warming up the upper back, and first we're going to stand feet parallel, hip width apart, so directly placed under your hip bones. And now you want to think of pulling your navel in towards your spine as much as you can. Yeah, this is the basic principle of core stability in a handstand. The idea that you always want to keep the front of your stomach pulled in towards your spine. This is what you want to maintain throughout the whole practice session. Every time we do an exercise, you want to think of pulling the navel in towards your spine, and that will engage your core. So with the idea now of pulling your core in, core muscles in, we are going to circle the shoulders, creating big circles, and prepare the upper body for taking weight onto the hands. So create big circles here. And then we do the same thing to the front. Big circles, and keep your navel pulled in towards your spine. Now keep your shoulders still and try to isolate a circle in the elbows. So I'm trying to isolate a circle in the elbows so that this circular movement is really just happening in my elbow joint. And it's happening in front of me. So I'm drawing a circle in the air with my hands, and I try to isolate the circle in my elbows. Let's go the other way. And really try to keep your shoulders really still so that this movement, it takes a bit of coordination in the beginning. Okay, same thing now with the wrists. I am going to circle my wrists here while keeping the arms as still as possible. So I want to isolate this circular movement in the wrist and the other way. And see if you can also move your fingers as if you're trying to grab the air. Naturally, quite naturally, the fingers are going to move with you. Okay, so let's connect this, connect everything. Pull your shoulders up, pull the elbows up, and flex your wrists and open everything up. It's like opening up a big book. So it's like opening up a big book in front of you, creating a ripple through every joint on the way from your shoulders to your fingertips. So it's shoulders, elbows, wrists, and then the fingers. And let's see if we can reverse this and create a ripple from our fingers all the way to the shoulders. So I start the ripple here in the fingers, elbows, it's first fingers, then it's wrists, elbows, and shoulders. It's like closing the book and pushing something in, and in, and in. Okay, very good. Shake your hands. And come down onto the floor. So it's best if you sit on your knees. You can take a yoga mat or a towel or something to soften this a little bit if you're not used to sitting on the hard floor. And let's just get used to the idea of the contact with the floor when we're taking weight onto our hands. So it's really important to understand this idea of pushing into the floor. Yeah, the floor is always like a resistance and a point of reference for you whenever you do anything connected to hand balancing. So just put your hands on the floor, spread your fingers as much as you can, and try to see whether you can create a maximum amount of surface contact with every part of your hand and your fingers and your palm and the floor. Yeah, and then push your weight slightly onto your hands. So I'm flipping my toes under here as well. And here really try to grab the floor and push your fingers into the ground and shift your shoulders from side to side. Yeah, really just try to massage your fingers into the ground as if you want to dig your fingers into wet sand or earth. And then grab the floor. I'm gonna make a squeaky sound maybe. Okay, now keep your fingers straight and turn the fingers out, facing the side, and again take the shoulders above the wrists and then just gently shift from side to side. So maybe one hand comes off and you'll feel a slight stretch here in the wrist, in the base of your hand. And just get used to this pushing sensation into the floor. Okay, so now you're going to push yourself into a squatting position. And here, if you aren't used to this squatting position with your feet flipped under, then this may be a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but here, try and shift your weight back and forth. So I'm pushing the weight onto my arms and back onto my feet, onto the arms, back onto the feet. And let's do this for 10 times. And 1. And 2, and 3, and 4. Hands flat on the ground. And 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so maybe you have done this already automatically, but what happens when we take weight onto the arms is that you need to push even more into the ground. So if you just want to try this with me once, sit up straight, whichever way you want to sit, but sit up with a straight spine, put your arms out to the front, and then push your shoulders front and relax, and push the shoulders front and relax. Yeah, so try this with the hands on the floor, the sensation of pushing away from the floor. And as we go into a more elevated positions with the hips more above the shoulders, you want to translate the same sensation with your arms above you. So just put your arms above you once, sit up straight, spine straight, and then just push your shoulders up to your ears. Yeah, so you elevate your shoulders, pushing them really up so that they are almost touching your ears. So that is the sensation of pushing the floor away. The other thing that we want to keep in mind in a handstand is the opposition between the crown of our head and the end of our spine, the tailbone. So there is a connection, yeah? These are the two opposite ends of the spine, and they are staying in a kind of counterweight reference to each other whenever we invert, yes? So you see it kind of works like a pendulum. So the next exercise we're going to do is you, again, sit in a squat. Put your knees onto the floor, push your hands into the ground, and then just lift the knees off. And hold it here. And then put them back down. And now walk your hands out a little bit further. And try to keep your shoulders in line with your wrists. So you want to have your shoulders directly above your wrists. And now again, we are going to lift the knees off. And do you remember what we did in the beginning in the warm-up with pulling the navel in towards the spine? That's what we want to do now, as much as possible, while still breathing. So just try this position here. Lift your knees off the ground, push into the floor, pull your navel in towards the spine, and release. So make sure that your head doesn't drop here and that you keep pushed out. And let's try and hold this position for 10 seconds together. And we'll do this twice. Okay, ready? Find your position and lift your knees, pull the navel in towards the spine. Stay here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And release. Well done. So maybe you're already starting to feel that your elbows are slightly shaking, and you aren't used to this type of holding something for a long time. But stick with me. We'll try it another time, and it's going to get easier the more you keep doing it. Let's do this another time. Position your hands at a good distance away from your knees so you can have your shoulders above the wrists, and then lift the knees off and stay here for 1, 2, 3, 4. Put the navel in towards the spine. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and release. Very good. So now the next step is to take it into a plank hold position. So a plank hold is basically the same principle as this one, as the little plank, but we've got our legs straight. So just try this position. This is a plank hold position. We want to really push the floor away, keep everything in line with the spine in a straight line, so you don't want to stick your bottom out or lower your hips like this. You always want to keep your navel put in towards your spine. I'm going to keep repeating this like a radio station that always says the same thing. The navel has to be pulled in towards the spine. Let's try and hold this plank position here just once for 10 seconds. Find your position, shoulder above the wrists, and straighten. Both feet stay here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Well done. Really well done. And shake your arms. So now from here, let's straighten the legs in front of us, and I'm going to bend the knees, just fold them into the side, and then with both hands, place both hands next to you. Straighten the top leg. And then you want to push your hips up into a supported sideways plank position. So these plank positions are very good for strengthening the side muscles and also preparing your shoulders for holding your body weight. So just try this position once, and then let's stay here for 10 seconds. So get into your position. You can place the other hand here, and let's stay for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and release. Lower your hips. So the idea here is, again, that I want to keep my shoulder above the wrist, and I want to maintain a straight line, so I don't want to be here or have my hips pushed out too much. So again, from the front to the other side, fold your legs in, and with both hands, place both hands on the side, straighten the top leg, push your hips up into a supported sideways plank position, place the other hand on the hips, try to maintain a straight line. Let's stay here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and release. Okay, well done. So let's take it one step further. Turn to the back. The hands are behind me, fingers facing to the front. Let's see if we can lift the hips up just as much as you are comfortable with. If you are feeling a stretch in your shoulders or in the wrist, just take it. Just take it as far as you can, as far as you want. The main thing is that the hips are off the floor. We're going to hold it together for 10 seconds and lift off and stay here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and lower. Well done. Really good. So you're already feeling now that you have been pushing a lot in the shoulders, but you've already done a lot. You've been able to maintain a push in the shoulders and hold your body weight, at least half of your body weight, with your hands in front, on the side, and behind you. And that's already quite a big step. So stay with me. I hope you are still with me and you haven't already pressed pause and thinking that this is too hard, take a break. If this is very challenging for you, take a small break and then continue. We'll just do a few more exercises, and it is getting quite tiring and intense towards the end, and that's normal. That's part of hand balancing practice. So now let's see if we can actually take it into an inversion. So again, place your hands in front of you, tuck your feet under, and now, while still keeping the shoulders above the wrists, try to lift your hips high as you can. You can still keep a micro bend in the knees and then lower back down. So again here, remember what I said about the connection between the head and the tailbone, acting like a pendulum. Yeah, so as your head drops, your hips go up, and the two are connected. As I lower my hips, my head comes up. So here, really try and make sure you are pushing your arms to the front, into the floor, and make sure that you are pulling your navel in towards your spine and that your shoulders are really staying above the wrists. And let's try to do this 10 times in a row together. And let's start for 1 and 2 and 3. Keep the head dropped. 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Well done. Well done. Shake your arms and flip. If you feel that this is a lot of strain already on your wrists, then just flip the wrist the other way and gently push with the other hand against the back of your hand, and then change sides and gently push. Okay, so now let's get into that position here again with the hips suspended, the hips high above, as high as you can. Drop the head. Make sure you're not taking your head back like this, that you're not pulling it to the back, because that's going to break the line of your spine. And here, let's try to take as much weight as you can onto your arms, onto your hands. So you're trying to gently push your weight forward onto your hands as much as you feel is good for you. And then when you find a point that is challenging, yet at the same time doable, let's try and hold it there for 10 seconds. And again, we are going to do this twice. So elevate your hips, the shoulders are above the wrists, and push your weight front and stay here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and release. Well done. Okay. Shake your arms. Let's do this one more time. Remember, keep the navel pulled in towards the spine and push the floor away. Get the sensation of pushing the floor away as if it was a big surface that you're holding above you. And one more time, hands in front of you, flip your feet, flip the toes under, elevate your hips, and stay here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and lower down. Well done, really well done. Even I'm breathing hard. I'm sure you're breathing hard. I'm sure you can feel your shoulders. And you've made it through all of these exercises. So let's take it into a gentle stretch to finish off with in a child's position. So here again, my sit bones are, try to touch the heels with the sit bones and push the hands to the front, stretching your fingers and your arms as much as you can to the front. And then rest the forehead on the ground and stay here and breathe and relax while still keeping a sensation of activation through the arms. So I'm relaxed, but at the same time I'm gently extending my arms further to the front so that I can get a stretch in my upper body. And breathe. And release, come back and swing the legs in front of you, and now place the hands behind you. My fingers are facing away from me here, and place your feet in front of you, and now here my hands are sort of diagonally behind me, and then push your chest to the front so that you open your rib cage, and you're going to feel a gentle stretch in front of your shoulder, and stay here. A gentle stretch, not a painful stretch, and hold it. And release. Okay, now again take hold of your hand. So first palm facing towards you, then you take hold of your thumb, and then I twist my hand down towards my sternum. Here I twist it down, I keep the shoulders pushed away from the ears, and my spine is straight, and then I'm going to push with this hand gently into the back of the hand and hold it. And release. Other side, hand facing towards you, take hold of your thumb, gently twist the hand down towards your sternum. The shoulders are pushed away from the ears, down towards the earth, and hold it. And release. Thank you very much for practicing with me. If you keep repeating this workout, it's going to over time strengthen your upper back enough in order to enable you to execute the preparation exercises for handstands properly and feel more confident with holding your hands up on your hands. If you feel pain in the wrist, this can happen if you're not used to holding your body weight, and then there's loads of exercises also in my other videos to strengthen the wrists and strengthen the little muscles that we have here in between the bones of our hand, which we need for hand balancing. If you like this class, this practice routine, check out my other videos on Vimeo. There is a link up in the header of my channel, which you can find. And thank you very much for practicing with me on YouTube here on a sunny day in London. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.